I asked you guys what other Planet game than Planet Coaster or Planet Zoo you can imagine. A lot of games popped up, including Planet City, Planet Golf, Planet Resort, and so on. But the one that stuck most with me was Planet Ski Resort. And there are a couple of games in the past that have something similar to it. Whether it was like Snowtopia, Ski Resort Tycoon from the early 2000s, or even Silverette, who built an entire ski resort in Planet Coaster. In today's video, we are going to talk about the likeliness and also potential content of a game like that. And let me tell you right away, this is the Planet game I would be most excited about, including all the others potential games. Now, why is this so? I'm gonna elaborate, but not only rambling today. We are taking a screenshot from Planet Zoo and we're working in this screenshot to tell you about all the potentials that a game like that would have. So let's get going. Alright, so we are going to look at a couple of generated images. I tried doing this in Photoshop Live with you guys, but that took way too long and also didn't work out that well. So full disclaimer, this is a model I trained with a couple of Planet Zoo and Planet Coaster images to get the planet style. And it turned out to have some really good examples to really guide you through all my thoughts for a Planet game like that. So in this case, I think generative AI is very wonderful to quickly showcase what we want. Now this first image over here could show like a little village that you've built, and alongside this you will already see that there are a couple of things going on. There's an avalanche in the background coming down the hill, and this is already showcasing one of the things that could happen if you don't take good care of the environment and don't build wisely enough. This could also cause some destruction, but you can also see that this might be a footprint that is realistically doable with a little village, but then you also can see some hills over here. And if we zoom in a little, I mean obviously the resolution is not too great, but you can see there's like a little bit of a ski route down here where people could go. Then we could imagine that this is like one hotel complex that you build. In the background you can see this could be like a lift station, this is like another hotel, maybe like a wellness hotel as well. And the bigger you build, the better you get, the more you can offer to the people. This looks like a little bit of a underground connection of some sort, you know, this could be like a bus station or so. And again, this would also be something that needs to be in a game like that, like transportation, arrival points, you know, connection just in general. But I have more for the table, you know. This could be the same resort on the other side, you know, if you turn around and you can see the ski route continues down here. We've got another hotel on the left-hand side, but we also have like a gondola, which looks fantastically modern and a little bit unfitting in this cozy resort otherwise, but you can tell that this is also something, maybe you unlock some very modern ones in the future. But I think the beauty about this shot is that you also have a forest to put down, you know, and in the background this might be like the map background and some sort like where you have to build stuff like that. And I also said, you know, how could you make some skiing slopes? Could be with a barrier system that you just, you know, the same way you do habitats in Planet Zoo could be the thing how you make slopes in a way, because everything that is within the barriers is a slope and acts like a traversable area for the skiers. And I really would take this picture to explain that a little bit further. So this over here is like a mountain station. Maybe you have built everything yourself, and then you can see to the down left there goes the route down here to the right. Maybe down here this is like a little ski-doo or something like that, you know, that you also would need to build so people can be rescued if needed. And then you've got obviously this huge mountain side over here where you also have some offer to sell some goods and so on and make the money. Very nice. And as you can tell from this picture, and this is like a little bit of a hint for the future, in the valley there is not really that much snow, so we need to go all the way up the mountain. Climate change will be a decisive factor for a game like this, and so we also need some other you know, facilities that take care of it. But before we go to something else, I want to showcase another picture from the valley, and this time around we have a bit more of a good view inside of the valley with some maybe other huts. This may not be a hotel, but this could be like a facility for staff members and so on, because that is something that you also would need, like with a couple of garages in which there is you know, vehicles that will also be required that you have to acquire before you can use them. And make sure that the slopes are always in a good condition, and if they're not in a good condition, obviously this would cause more people to crash, and the likeliness of injuries are high. And with these injuries comes something in the background over here could be a hospital, you know, a hospital complex. And then maybe you have different areas of your map where you have different resorts, but then you have one big hospital. It's always very likely that in these regions in the mountains you don't always have a big hospital in each in every village, you know. Sometimes it's in the one bigger village and you need to ensure that you've got helicopters and stuff like that so that the people can act rather quickly and then come by helicopter to secure the people. And you can already tell from all the talking, there is just so much potential to make this a fun game. And with all the building, I think piece by piece would be very neat for this, because imagine you have the same type of facilities as we have in Planet Zoo. And then you could use these facilities as a bare-bone piece with a blueprint, for example, or you can start styling this yourself, just as we do in this game, and then use the blueprint and share that with other people. That would be something super cool, seeing all the different hotel resorts that people build, seeing all the different hospital designs that people build. And I'm totally fine with having just the facility, just like for example, I think the best example is the souvenir shop, the modular souvenir shop we got lately in Planet Zoo. That one, the way it works, could be the exact blueprint for a game like this. This could be like, imagine you have like a facility like that. One is a room, and then you can put different beds in different styles, and like the kiosk we have right now, the different displays are different beds, and you can scale that to every type of facility, you know, that you have. It can be a hospital. Restaurants we already have, they can function basically the same way they do right now, maybe get a couple of variants of the look of the, you know, the kitchen, just a couple of different kitchen variants, and I would be super fine with that, because this is a proven system that works, and I would obviously love to see the people use skis in the game, and I'm very much open to seeing how Frontier would tackle this. And as you know, with all the animations they've done for the enrichment items for the guests, I mean, I always call them like that, but obviously it's the education items that the kids interact with, for example. I love that. But there is more to the table. This image is also another generated image, and I think this one shows yet again how big you can become of a village later on, and then different fence designs, but also this is like a ski slope that goes all the way down, and or like a ski route, I should say, for the people doing not the alpine ski, but just like do some ski walks and so on. And I already had the last 3 or 4 times I've been in skiing holidays, and including the one 2 weeks ago, most likely the ski routes were all closed because there's no snow, you know, people couldn't do this, and so maybe you need artificial snow for that and create routes like that, which is a lot more expensive, obviously, and hence you need, for example, something like this, and this is a water reservoir in which you have the water that is used to fuel these kind of artificial snow cannons that create artificial snow. However, this picture over here is a perfect segue, because I focused now a lot of winter, as you can tell over here. But this picture is the only one I have in here that is from summer. And I have the feeling that many people misinterpret how these resorts work by now. Summer, spring, and autumn became more and more relevant to these resorts. I mean, you know, they have always been relevant, but in the past it was a lot more often that the winter did make them so much money that they didn't need to focus that much on the summer, autumn, and spring activities, because people would eventually come there anyways. But now it is really like starting a little bit of a fight between these resorts. Who has got the best like mountain bike routes and the best e-bike routes? You know, who's got the best lakes for swimming? Who's got the best, I don't know, hiking routes? And all these kind of things become super more relevant to these resorts, because they have to make more money touristic wise, more money in the hotter and warmer month compared to the winter month, which used to be the best ones. And they need to make money that they can spend on improving the winter resort in ways like building the lifts higher up the mountain to be more snow secure, making sure that you have more snow cannons. And another very interesting bit about this is, I'm gonna go back here, because that is a good example. I wanted to take this image for an example. You can see up here, these would be lovely areas for skiing slopes, right? You could like wonderfully, let's imagine that there is a higher mountain here to the top right, and you could very much guide the whole tour all the way down into the valley, which would be, into the village actually, and put a lift down here, which brings the people up here. That would be a huge improvement to the guest flow and to the touristic and likeliness of this village to become more famous and more popular. But imagine that this hill over here is part of a plot that belongs to a person. Let's say this is like a countryman or like a person who lives here, and he owns that land. And honestly, this is one of the biggest issues, and I want to frame issues as in you are the tycoon, okay? It's not an issue per se, because many times I believe it's very good that people don't sell the land to the resort owners, or basically they never sell it. They basically just loan that to them. They give it to them on a rent, and something like this happened in Oberstdorf, which is the village I used to go to. This is my absolute second home, and there's one absurdly beautiful natural skiing slope, which is called the Hölvis, and they have an issue right now because they wanted to improve the lift, because it's been one of these very old lifts, the longest old lift in Europe that is only pulling you up the hill. So not pulling, pushing, pulling, whatever, you know, these kind of, I have no idea how they're called in English, but that was tremendous, being on this lift, like for, I don't know, 15 minutes going up the hill. Your knees and stuff did hurt quite a lot after we've been there. And then I wanted to put like a wonderful chairlift in there, and like a modern one. However, when they decided to do this, their rent ran off for the areas there, and there are like very complicated different plots that belong to different owners, and they all have to agree that they can build a new slope there. And also the liften isn't really the biggest issue for them. It's actually the biggest issue for them is that they don't want to have artificial snow over there, because with the lift they would also install like snow cannons over there, because unfortunately Hölvis, I think the last time I have been riding Hölvis is 10 years ago or so, because I haven't had luck of enough snow in the years after. It's only at about 800 meters to 1,000 meters or so, or 1,100, I don't know exactly the numbers, but yeah. And so I imagine this could be also in a game like that you also have to purchase different land tiles that you can utilize for your slope. So you can't just plot the slopes everywhere. You could potentially do this in sandbox mode, but not in the actual game. And I really, really think this would be such a unique game, and at the same time such a very, very deep and meaningful game, because you could also tell so many stories about climate change and how to deal sustainably with these skiing resorts. And you know, I really like the thought, and I'm very thankful also to Mr. Silverett, because I've been chatting with him about this and how much we would be nerding about a game like that. And I promised you guys to talk about the likeliness of this game, and so I want to go to one of my favorite shots over here. I think, unfortunately, from all the mentioned games at the beginning of the video, including all the successor games we could have made, like Planet Zoo 2, Planet Coaster 2, Jurassic World Evolution 3, this is by far the most unlikely game to appear, at least what I think. Nothing at Frontier does connect them to skiing or snow or anything like that. Nothing connects them to a game like this. There haven't been that many games in general about skiing resort. Like, as I said, like the huge Tycoon wave early 2000s obviously did that as well, but there was like a game for everything, you know. That's not too much of a thing. And unfortunately, Snowtopia has also been stopped, even though I think it was not because of the game not being successful enough. It was really the team wanting to focus on something else, and you know, life comes in and was like an indie game. However, I really do believe that a game like this would offer a lot of potential, and I would certainly love to play it. And in times where skiing becomes insanely expensive for people to do anyways, and where skiing resorts need every single bit of advertisement in a way also for the summer, this would also be a huge opportunity to have real life locations in there. Imagine loading in real life height maps. You know, we already have the opportunity to load in height maps to our maps, so why not give us the possibility to load in real life height maps? Like, just imagine Oberstdorf would offer the height map of their area, and then you have a blueprint and you can build your own Oberstdorf. I mean, that would be legit absolutely amazing. However, that should be it. Let me know in the comments what you think about a Planet Ski. I would be madly happy about this, but I don't know. Have you ever been skiing? Are you more like the snowboarder type, or is it summer the better time for you? Let me know in the comments down below, and hopefully you found this video interesting and helpful, and maybe a bit of, you know, inspiring for what kind of Planet games could be out there. And also, I do hope that this video proved the point that I'm not too much obsessed only with Planet Coaster. I would love to see a different Planet game, don't get me wrong, but I just try to balance the likeliness of the different games. And as I think that this game is not super likely, you know where I'm coming from. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope you sticked around with me till this point in time. If you did, you may also leave a like to the channel or subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for your support. And now I wish you a wonderful rest of the weekend, Sunday, next week ahead, whenever you're watching this video. Have a good time. Thank you so much and goodbye.